It was rough. Musicians union was there, but they weren't of much help at the time. I was never happy. I guess what drives me to tear things apart.
Eddie Van Halen wasn't just a guitar player, he was a revolutionary force in rock music. From the lightning-fast tapping riffs to the iconic solos that defined generations, Eddie reshaped the way the guitar was played and inspired countless musicians around the globe. Yet, despite his legendary status and influence, Eddie was far from shy about his opinions, especially when it came to fellow guitarists. In a candid revelation before his death, Eddie named 6 guitarists he absolutely could not stand. For fans, this was shocking. Eddie Van Halen, known for his generosity on stage and in interviews, was usually diplomatic when discussing other musicians. But here, he was brutally honest. These 6 guitarists, by his own admission, pushed all the wrong buttons, and Eddie didn't hesitate to explain why. Was it jealousy? Frustration with technique? Or a clash of musical philosophy? The answers reveal a side of Eddie that few fans ever saw. A perfectionist with an unwavering vision for guitar mastery, someone who valued creativity, originality, and musical integrity above all else. His criticisms were not just about personal taste. They were reflections of the high standards he held for himself and everyone playing in his realm. In this video, we dive into the 6 guitarists Eddie Van Halen named, the reasons behind his strong opinions, and the context that shaped his judgments. From rivalries to personal frustrations, this story uncovers the side of Eddie Van Halen that was honest, passionate, and unafraid to speak the truth, even when it would shock the world. Eddie Van Halen wasn't just a guitarist. He was a musical innovator whose influence reshaped rock music forever. Born in Amsterdam in 1955 and raised in California, Eddie displayed a natural affinity for music from an early age. What set him apart wasn't just talent, but an insatiable curiosity and desire to push boundaries. By the time he co-founded Van Halen with his brother Alex, Eddie had already begun developing techniques and styles that would become his signature, setting him leagues apart from his contemporaries. What truly made Eddie revolutionary was his invention and popularization of the two-handed tapping technique, a style that allowed him to play lightning-fast arpeggios and melodic runs in ways previously unheard of in rock. Fans marveled at his solos, which were both technically brilliant and emotionally expressive. His playing was never purely about speed. Every note had a voice. Every riff told a story. This combination of virtuosity and musicality earned him admiration from peers and aspiring guitarists alike, cementing his status as a legend. Beyond technique, Eddie's creativity extended to modifying and building his own guitars. He famously customized his instruments with unique designs and pickups to achieve the tones he envisioned. The iconic Frankenstrat, a hybrid of different guitar parts, became a symbol not just of Eddie's innovation, but of his refusal to settle for conventional tools. He approached music the same way he approached life, experimenting, challenging norms, and carving a path that was distinctly his own. Despite his immense talent and acclaim, Eddie was never one to idolize others blindly. He valued originality above all else and had a clear sense of what made a guitarist remarkable and what didn't. His opinions weren't born of pettiness or ego, but of a deep understanding of the craft. He admired creativity, innovation, and musicianship, and he wasn't afraid to speak honestly when he felt someone fell short. It's this combination of brilliance, honesty, and high standards that explains why Eddie later revealed the 6 guitarists he hated the most. While the announcement shocked fans, it also provided insight into the mindset of a man who spent his life perfecting his art. Eddie's judgments were less about personal dislike and more about his unwavering commitment to musical integrity. He had a clear vision of what guitar should be: expressive, original, and technically superb, and he expected others in the field to uphold a similar standard. By understanding Eddie Van Halen's genius, his innovations, and his uncompromising approach to music, we can better grasp why he felt so strongly about the guitarists he criticized. His standards weren't unreasonable. They were a reflection of a lifetime spent pursuing excellence inspiring generations, and reshaping the very language of rock music. Eddie Van Halen was never one to hide his thoughts, whether it came to music, guitarists, or the state of rock itself. His honesty, sometimes blunt and unapologetic, wasn't about creating controversy. It was about expressing a deeply held philosophy. Eddie's perspective was rooted in a lifelong commitment to innovation, excellence, and authenticity, values he expected not only of himself, but of every musician around him. From a young age, Eddie showed an extraordinary curiosity and drive. He constantly experimented with new techniques, sounds, and equipment. The two-handed tapping method, his custom Frankenstrat guitar, and countless studio innovations all reflected a mind unwilling to settle for the ordinary. This relentless pursuit of originality made Eddie highly attuned to mediocrity or imitation. When he encountered guitarists who relied on clichés, gimmicks, or formulaic solos, he viewed it as a violation of the craft he loved so deeply. His hatred wasn't personal, it was principled. Eddie's honesty also stemmed from his desire to educate and inspire. He wanted musicians to push themselves, to think beyond the conventional, and to embrace creativity over convenience. By openly criticizing those who failed to innovate, he implicitly encouraged others to raise their standards. In interviews, he sometimes shocked fans with his forthrightness, but his critiques often carried lessons for aspiring guitarists. Originality matters. Skill alone is not enough, and true artistry requires emotional connection, not just technical ability. Another factor in Eddie's candor was his humility combined with a perfectionist streak. He knew his own genius, yet he never stopped challenging himself. Each new album, solo, or performance was an opportunity to refine his craft. This high self-expectation naturally extended to how he viewed others. Guitarists who achieved fame without the same dedication or innovation frustrated him because Eddie understood the effort, discipline, and creativity required to reach such heights legitimately. Eddie also believed that music should evoke emotion, not just impress technically. Flashy solos without soul, speed without feeling, or fame without substance were anathema to him. He was vocal about this because he wanted the music industry to maintain its artistic integrity. In a world where trends and commercial success often overshadowed genuine talent, Eddie's honesty was a form of guardianship, a reminder that true artistry requires heart, dedication, and originality. It's important to note that Eddie's critiques were rarely vindictive. He spoke from experience, knowledge, and passion. Every opinion he shared reflected the standards that had made him a legend: precision, creativity, and emotional resonance. His hatred of certain guitarists, therefore, should be seen less as personal animosity and more as a reflection of a man unwilling to compromise his values or tolerate mediocrity in his art form. In the end, Eddie Van Halen's honesty about other guitarists reveals the mindset of a genius. He didn't fear judgment, nor did he sugarcoat his opinions for public approval. By speaking openly, he challenged the industry to aspire higher and inspired a generation of musicians to prioritize skill, originality, and emotional depth. His candor reminds us that true greatness isn't just about talent. It's about holding yourself and others to the highest possible standard. No matter how uncomfortable the truth may be, Eddie Van Halen's influence extends far beyond the 6 guitarists he openly criticized. His legacy is a testament to innovation, dedication, and uncompromising standards in the world of music. By being honest about his opinions, Eddie provided invaluable lessons to both aspiring and established guitarists, illustrating what it truly means to excel at the highest level. One of the most important lessons Eddie imparted was the value of originality. Throughout his career, he refused to mimic others or settle for conventional approaches. The Frankenstrat, his custom-built guitar, and his signature two-handed tapping technique were born from experimentation, curiosity, and a desire to create something unique. Eddie's criticism of certain guitarists reflected this same principle. He admired musicians who pushed boundaries and expressed themselves authentically, not those who relied on imitation or trend following. Another lesson lies in dedication to craft. Eddie's technical mastery was matched only by his relentless work ethic. He spent hours in the studio refining solos, experimenting with sound, and perfecting techniques. This level of discipline set him apart and established a benchmark for what it means to be a truly great guitarist. By publicly calling out musicians he fell short, Eddie emphasized that talent alone was not enough. Hard work, innovation, and consistency were essential components of lasting success. Eddie also underscored the importance of emotional connection in music. While technical skill can impress, it is the emotional resonance that moves audiences. He valued guitarists who could communicate feeling through their instruments, blending technique with expression. His hatred of certain performers was often rooted in a perception that their music lacked this essential depth. Eddie's perspective encourages modern guitarists to strive for balance, proficiency paired with heart, precision combined with soul. Furthermore, Eddie's candidness serves as a reminder that honesty, even when uncomfortable, is a vital part of growth. By openly sharing his opinions, he challenged musicians to confront their weaknesses, rethink their approach, and aspire to higher standards. Constructive criticism, when grounded in knowledge and experience, can be a powerful tool for improvement. Eddie exemplified this, using his platform not just to entertain, but to educate and inspire. Finally, Eddie's legacy reminds us that greatness requires fearlessness, the courage to innovate, to critique, and to stand by one's principles. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind, even if it upset fans or peers. This fearless approach to music and life shaped him into a true icon. Guitarists today can learn from this example. Mastery comes from creativity, discipline, emotional expression, and the courage to pursue one's vision without compromise. In the end, Eddie Van Halen's story is more than the tale of a virtuoso guitarist who reshaped rock music. It is also a lesson in integrity, passion, and the pursuit of excellence. While the 6 guitarists he criticized may have sparked controversy, they also highlight the standards that made Eddie extraordinary. His honesty, artistry, and innovation continue to inspire musicians across generations, reminding everyone that the pursuit of greatness is relentless, uncompromising, and deeply rewarding. Eddie Van Halen's legacy is not just in his music, but in his principles, a roadmap for aspiring guitarists to innovate, work tirelessly, and play from the heart. It is a legacy that will endure for decades, inspiring countless artists to reach beyond imitation and mediocrity and strive for something truly extraordinary.